AEW has been around for 2 years, and it continues to prove that it is the #1 wrestling promotion in the world. However, even with their elite roster, they still manage to screw up every now and then. So here are AEW's top 10 worst botches so far. A favorite botch to many fans, Matt Sydal's attempt at a shooting star press at All Out 2020 is first on our list. Pulling off this move is not an easy task. You can ask Brock Lesnar himself.
What the hell's Lesnar doing, Cole? Oh my God!
This is quite possibly one of the most high-risk moves in all of pro wrestling. However, what's ironic here is that the shooting star press is one of Sydal's signature moves, and he still managed to botch it in his AEW debut. Sydal took to Twitter to state, "Slipping was bonkers. That was a first and hopefully a last." Matt Hardy and Orange Cassidy took part in a lumberjack match on the November 13th episode of AEW Rampage. Although Hardy came out on top thanks to some interference from his stable, during the match Hardy attempted to deliver an elbow drop on Orange Cassidy, but missed it by a long shot, dropping straight onto the mat instead. Even Orange looked at Matt during the match as he couldn't know what to improvise at that time. Matt tried to play it off cool, yet no one will forget such a bad miss by a long-time veteran. For the people that like to point out that wrestling punches are fake, they were not wrong on the December 18, 2019 episode of Dynamite. The Dark Order is a favorite stable of many fans. However, in the first few episodes of Dynamite, this stable featured various local unknown wrestlers in every city they go to. These were known as the Dark Order's Creepers. Near the end of the show, many Creepers joined the Dark Order in the ring and made their attack on the Young Bucks, Cody and Dustin Rhodes. However, what caught the eye of many wrestling fans were the airy punches to Dustin Rhodes by one of the Creepers. This quickly became a popular meme on social media, and AEW quickly decided that the Creepers needed to go. On the 10th episode of AEW Dynamite, we witnessed a match between Pentagon Jr. and Christopher Daniels. Throughout the hard-hitting match, Pentagon and Daniels were trading moves on the ramp. A kick to Pentagon left Daniels open to attack, choosing to go for an Arabian moonsault yet did not manage to deliver. Watching someone fall is always funny, yet you gotta give some props to the 50-year-old Daniels, who at that age, continues to give good quality matches. Mike Tyson always was a scary man, the baddest man on the planet. But AEW managed to find a weakness of Iron Mike. Back in 2020, Chris Jericho had quite a forgettable feud with Mike Tyson. Yet their face-to-face confrontation will always be remembered, for that was the day the oh-so-powerful Mike wasn't able to tear off his t-shirt. In the most energetic and hyped moments of their confrontation, Tyson struggled to rip off the shirt, a popular move in combat sports and pro wrestling. After a few heavy breaths, Mike managed to start tearing off the shirt slowly but surely. This may very well be one of the least badass moments of Tyson's career. At AEW Revolution 2021, we witnessed one of the funniest moments in AEW's history. In the ring we see Jon Moxley struggling, with his hands cuffed behind his back. We hear air raid sirens and the scared words of the commentators. Eddie Kingston runs to the ring and goes over Jon Moxley's body to protect him from something which was about to happen in 3, 2, 1. This botched segment was completely unintentional. After the show went off the air, Moxley took the microphone and said,
"Kenny Omega may be a tough son of a bitch, but he can't make an exploding ring worth of shit."
But even funnier than the explosion is the fact that all that hype and pyro, had it worked properly, was only made for a debuting Christian Cage. No hate on Christian, but fans were pretending to see someone of a higher caliber. At All Out 2019 we saw the Bastard Pac facing Kenny Omega, however the match didn't go as planned. According to the Talk is Jericho podcast, Chris Jericho stated that after the match, both Kenny and Pac were mad because their match was too long, and they ran out of time, and they had to cut a bunch of stuff, and they were not happy about it. The match did not go as they thought it would, and having to cut a few parts of it out due to time constraints, led to some miscommunication between the two. Chris Jericho and Cody Rhodes faced each other at AEW's Full Gear pay-per-view for the AEW World Championship. However, instead of a shiny new championship, Rhodes ended up walking away with a gash on his forehead. Midway through the match, Cody tossed Jericho onto the ramp and opted to go for a suicide dive. Unfortunately for Rhodes, instead of catching him, Jericho simply moved out of the way. This led to Cody landing on the metal ramp face first. This terrible part of the match quickly went viral on social media, after which AEW gave everyone an update on Cody, letting everyone know that he will be alright after a few stitches to the head. Eddie Kingston and Lance Archer are two of the biggest stars of AEW. During their tournament match, Archer attempted a moonsault off the top rope, but ended up rotating less than he should have, which resulted in him landing on his head. Whilst in the match, he was checked out at ringside by the referee and ringside physician, but props to Eddie Kingston for noticing the seriousness of the fall. He rolled up Archer for the pin and ended the match sooner than expected. After the match, Archer thanked AEW for taking care of him, and made a Twitter post to let the fans know he'll be okay. "Listen, we choose to do this and take our health in our hands every night. I've done that move hundreds of times over my career. Just under-rotated. Could have been much worse. Thank you to all at AEW for taking amazing care of me and protecting me. I'll be back." Ever since that fall we haven't seen Archer's return, yet all fans are very excited to see him healthy and back in the ring. And here it is. The #1 AEW botch of all time award goes to Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara. These two men had quite an unforgettable feud in the first few months of Hardy's debut in AEW. Sammy, the young star, and Matt, the veteran, had two serious botches in this feud. The first botch happened on the 5th of August 2020 episode of Dynamite when Sammy threw a steel chair at Hardy's face, busting him wide open in the process. Blood was seen pouring out of Matt's head, and his immediate surprised reaction to the hit clearly shows that this moment was not planned at all. As soon as Sammy notices what happened, he goes to Matt and punches him several times on his head. Probably he was checking on him at this point. However, they both continued with the segment, which led to Guevara jumping from the stage onto Matt Hardy, who was laying on a table. Yet this was not all. In their Broken Rules match, which ended their feud at All Out, Hardy and Guevara fought in the area near a football field, and made their way to a scaffold. The two men traded punches on top of the scaffold until Sammy speared Matt off of it, launching them towards a table on the ground. Unfortunately, Sammy speared Hardy a bit too hard, which ended up having them miss the landing, and Hardy landed hard on his head, hitting the concrete floor. The hit was so bad that he was unable to walk and could not even stand up. Many fans were upset that the match carried on. However, there was a stipulation where if Matt lost, he leaves AEW, and the call was made for them to carry on and finish the match. Matt Hardy suffered a concussion, and his wife even took to Twitter to criticize AEW for their decision to let the match go on. This was by far the most worrying moment in AEW history. Fans were legitimately scared for Matt's health. Thank you for watching this video. If you'd like to see more, elbow drop that subscribe button and let us know what you want to see next.